First, let me correct the perception that the government has passed it. What has simply happened is that there is a law which has been discussed, debated, and has passed in the National Assembly. This law is called the Criminal Law or Codification and Reform Amendment Bill. The bill went through Parliament recently and was passed by the National Assembly and is expected to be debated in the House of Senate this week, even as early as today, and thereafter it will then be transmitted to the President for his assent. But the bill, and most people refer to it as the Patriotic Bill, it is because it has within it principles which initially were adopted by Cabinet to be meant to deal with the Patriotic Law. Hence, it's the name, the Patriotic Bill, by members of the public. It is a worrying bill because it does affect the rights to freedom of expression. So there is a likelihood that a person can actually be arrested and imprisoned for saying things about the situation in Zimbabwe as is, but then the government can then construe it to mean anything, can construe it to mean that you were demonizing the country. And the issue really about what meetings, because it just says any person who attends a meeting with a foreign government, you are not sure by foreign government what exactly the government means here. What the foreign government means are those countries which are outside Zimbabwe. But what if you are also going to attend international meetings? Zimbabwe, for example, is a state party to a number of regional and international instruments. Zimbabwe is a state party to the African Charter, and therefore the African, in terms of the African Charter, there is the African Union heads of state summits. People can go and want to lobby there. There is the African Commission for Human and People's Rights, in which a number of organizations, including the Zimbabwe Human Rights NGO Forum, for which I work for, is as observer status with the African Commission. And a number of times we have attended sessions of the African Commission for Human and People's Rights, where we've expressed the serious concern over the issue of human rights violations within the country, Zimbabwe, where we recently attended the 75th ordinary session of the African Commission for Human and People's Rights, where we highlighted with concern the violence that we continue to note within the country as we head towards elections. We noted and we expressed concern over previously what we have seen, including extrajudicial killings of people attempt by soldiers. The 1 August 2018 shootings is something which is too fresh in our minds and worrying as we head towards the elections, because this was just post-election violence. We recall the killing of a supporter during one of the opposition rallies in Kwekwe last year as we headed towards the March by elections which were held. We still remember that nothing has happened despite the following the disappearance of Itai Zamara. There are so many other cases of abduction that continue to be reported, and knowing the real investigations really take place. So when we go out there and we mention these things, we want the international community to be hard on Zimbabwe so that the country can turn around and start respecting the rule of law. We are arguing that the country does not respect the rule of law, and the need for us to go to regional and international bodies to speak about that. And yet when you look then at the provisions of this bill, it might mean that after speaking out there, I can actually come back and find myself in serious trouble for having spoken against the government of Zimbabwe. These are some of the worrying issues, worrying trends, and we actually believe that this would contravene, in the initial analysis, our own domestic laws, and in particular the right to freedom of expression. We know obviously that some of the issues and some of the rights which can be infringed include the right to freedom of assembly, where, for example, we have also seen people being arrested for simply the assembling that they have done. We give, for example, the demonstration called for 31 July 2020 by the Jacob Ngarivume, and in which we saw him being convicted now for an offense not linked to that, but being called inciting violence, when simply what he did was to call for a demonstration, which is allowed in terms of the Constitution. We saw the conviction at the time of Zimbabwe and another, and we recently saw an acquittal in the High Court following that conviction. We have seen currently the arrest of university students who were arrested for demonstrating, and we note with concern at the moment that we now see that bail also has been denied. So these are some of the things which continue to worry us. These things are happening in the country. When you then go out and say that we are worried that Zimbabwean students are being arrested for demonstrating and being imprisoned for demonstrating, we would be deemed to be demonizing the country. But what we are seeing, unfortunately, is what we believe was happening during the colonial era and during the time that our liberators were the ones who were on the receiving end, being treated in the very same manner in which they are treating us these days. So it's these laws which we believe are wrong. These are the laws that we think really ought not to be there. And that there is need for us to continue to respect the rule of law by not coming up with laws which have a tendency of closing the civic space. Look, all our elections have been disputed largely because of the fact that there are quite a number of things we will need to change. For example, the issue starts with voter registration. The people at the moment have been complaining that they can no longer find their names on the voters' roll. Or the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission should just behave as an independent commission, be independent in the manner in which it operates, and just ensure that everyone who registered is and remains on the voters' roll. We are worried at the moment. I believe there is even a court case upcoming regarding the issue of the fees that have to be paid by candidates. We believe that's trying to disenfranchise those people without money. We know there have been quite a number of presidential candidates and aspirants in the past. I think in the last election we had over 20 presidential candidates, most of whom then ended up at Pollard there. But the fact that at the moment the requirement would be for each presidential candidate to pay 20,000 basically means that quite a few will be able to afford that. Yes, we know there are political parties who over time might have amassed some wealth to be able to pay the 20,000. That does not mean that they have to make it difficult for the others. We note even the people like the members of parliament are also having to pay 1,000. The ministers are paying up. The councillors are paying about $50. The payments really, to me, are worrying. The figures are too high, and they have to change. The aspect of media coverage is something that also has to be dealt with, and to ensure that there is equality in terms of what coverage is available at the end of the day. Accessibility to the voting polling stations. I've already addressed the issue of access to the media. And then at the moment, we also have a challenge which we have witnessed, especially last year when we witnessed that opposition political parties' rallies were being banned. We hope we don't continue to witness that, and that people will be allowed access to campaign freely and make their decisions. We note violence which seem to be sponsored. We call upon those allegedly sponsoring violence to desist from sponsoring violence, but to ensure that people are able to freely campaign and talk about their candidates without fear and favor.